Hello and welcome to the Intro to Web Development Engineering series presented by Christex Foundation. Don't worry if you know see me face now. Me really lead that through this workshop. Me on name na Mitch. Link to my socials and how to reach me will be in the video description. If you get any follow-up question or you want to make any inquiries, feel free to reach out at any time. Just an overview of this entire series. This intro to web development course is part of a broader intro to front-end engineering course. This would be like an 8-week intensive designed to take somebody from a total beginner to being at a level wherein you can develop small-scale websites. And like I said, you don't need to forget any prior software engineering skill for be a part of this course because they take you from the very start, from the basic thing there. These workshops are designed to be highly practical, and also in addition to their recording, there are so we get in-person workshops then every Thursday, starting from today to the 5th. I think the last one will be on the 5th or 8th of December, every Thursday at the Christex facility. Feel free for come in at any time. And also in addition to that one, we link to my socials and link to the Christex Discord would be in the description. So if there's any time along the course you're in the stock, you can join the Discord and ask the questions that you have in there. Thank you. So without much ado, let's go right into the lesson for today with our internet basics. So the reason why a lot of product team and a lot of development and engineering we can start and say, not they succeed is because people when they develop them here not understand the basics. Yes, big fancy code, big fancy solutions are really important, but for know waiting everything will work out, you need to know the core of the internet, so waiting the power all and different things that's what you see, and getting an understanding of then small thing there so they able to make you know what is possible and what you can actually do with the technology way out there. So that's why the lesson for today we start off with the internet basics, where they able to make you understand the fundamentals of how the internet will work. What they happen when you select when you go online and type google.com. What they happen behind the scenes where they make you able to see what you they see. So let's go right into it. And also one for mention, these are all the next 6 lessons that we get for the go with, and these are designed for unlock on the day where you get that session there. So the big question we all don't ask at one point in time, what is the internet? Waiting at this internet. Where somebody they say you do go online, waiting at this internet where we all the access. And in the most basic and the most straightforward definition, the internet is a global network of interconnected devices, computers and servers where they give you access to a vast amount of information, services and communication. The internet was first developed by the U.S. Department of Justice in the 1960s as a way for communicate among themselves over long distances. And over time, this technology evolved to what we now know as the internet. What to make up the internet? The internet, to be frank, is made up of you, me, you paddy, your brother, your sister, your mama, your auntie. Because like I mentioned in the definition, it's a network of interconnected devices. Me connect to the internet, your mama connect to the internet, your brother connect. That's that connection that we all get. That is what we refer to as the internet. The outside of that, there are core components of the internet. There are core things that we connected and core services on different sides of this one spectrum when they all make up this internet. So one of them is ISPs. ISPs are basically internet service providers, like QCell, like Africell, like Orange and Sierra Leone. Then people are also, they give you access to the internet. And it's not the internet, it's a global network of internet connected computers where they store and provide access to vast amounts of information, services, and communications. And the next one are called clients. What's in a client? Your phone where you use your iPhone, your Technic, your Samsung, your MacBook Pro, your MacBook Air. These are clients. These are people on the other side, right? So ISP, they provide you internet. Also, they use this internet on your client's devices. And there are servers. Servers are also computers, but these are more dedicated and intensive computers where they move, like we get high processing power and we use them for host websites, for store this information where they go access on the internet. They are stored somewhere. Outside they store them in a server, right? And on these same servers, we use them for run high intensive applications. But the most basic and the most straightforward definition of what a server is, a server is just a device where they listen for requests and then serve a response. That's basically waiting a server. They listen for requests and then serve a response, hence the name server. And then we get routers, just like the name implies. Routers, they route outside data packets that they go. In the next session of this course, we'll be discuss on how the internet will work. And make I just gonna like a sneak peek into that one day. The internet, how it work is when you type www.google.com, that information is broken down into packets sent to your ISP, sent via routers to other components of the internet, go and access the domain name in service. We get like the google.com registered. And then, like I said, this DNS is a server where they listen for requests. And we don't put in the request, say, the request for google.com, and then it send and come back to it. It gives server the response now. But from when this information don't divided into packets, they need a way for travel, they need something for directing. This is where routers come in. Next component we deal with are called IP addresses. So you know in Sierra Leone wherein we get with national IDs, and from a national ID we get something we call NIN, which is a national identification number. So if we assume that the internet also in a country on its own, itself gets devices where they connect to the internet itself gets a own national identification number. But in this case, they are called IP addresses. So IP addresses are basically unique identifiers for every device where they connect to the internet. And just from this quick Google search, you can see like the format of an IP address is basically a number, 192.168.123. So with this number now, we're able to identify, so these nodes or these devices are connected to the internet. But next you get like DNS, which stand for Domain Naming Services. So let's say, using the same NIN as an example. Your NIN is just a number, right? So let's say for one day, as Salon we say, we refer to everybody based on their NIN. I can assure you things are not get done on time, or things are not going to even get done because even we they talk, so not even know me NIN offhand. And I believe so yourself with the list is so not know you NIN. So imagine somebody want to call you and begin call 796873V51732. You wouldn't be able to understand. Communication will be deterred. That is where DNS comes in. Domain naming service. These that they take this IP address the way we get. This 192.168.132, and then translate it to a human readable language. It's like a connection. It's like instead of saying now 192.168.132, you can easily say google.com, but then their google.com still they points to this IP address. And data centers, this now like physical infrastructure we built for host servers, for host clients, for facilitate the internet. And I don't give hints on this where I be explain servers, how data they travel. Waiting they happen at the background when from that stage where you type google.com to you seeing this nice web page where they see how that information they travel for gets to you. So firstly, when you type google.com, that information, that data we don't provide is then broken down into packets, smaller packets. And then those packets that is come out from your device go to your ISP. So considering if your ISP na Orange or Africell or QCell na Sierra Leone, the packets then from your phone, when you type facebook.com, they come out from your device to your ISP. And then your ISP, they redirect them packets and they through routers to the destination server. The destination server for google.com, they be the domain naming server for Google, where you ISP, they send a request now to the server. So, this device, the request for this server within domain name google.com. And then this server, the processes request we don't receive from your ISP. Right? And like I mentioned earlier, servers basically listen for request, process them, and serve a response. And then the server receive the request we don't make for google.com, process them or run them through the DNS, and then once you find google.com, route them back through the same process. Say you can have a device, you see this nice google.com screen where you see, which you search bar for search for control and win that by 2 we don't make. So now we move on to waiting our website and waiting our web apps, waiting at the differences, waiting that they use them for, and waiting make them all just unique in their own way. So now we move on to waiting our website and waiting our web app. Waiting we can use them for, why they're also important in their own way. Waiting make up a website, waiting make up a web app, waiting are the differences. So waiting a website is basically a collection of web pages where typically it is designed for just provide information to users, right? Websites are not necessarily designed for somebody for directly and intensively interact with. For example, this website where they use for present this lesson is meant for you for collect information from. Yes, it gets small interactivity as in you can touch through these arrow keys here and move the pages back and forth. But at the core, it's just there providing you information. You can't query, you can't send a request. And the content here is static, meaning recording this video now, the content that is here, if I'll be recorded at any other time or whenever you look at this video and visit this website with this particular URL, it's the same content that is there. It does not change based on interactivity. The content they will only change wherein the author or the web developer or the person who deploy the website make an update also that content, right? Whereas with other web apps, the information or the content you get dependent on which you query, the request you send. But with websites now, it's always static, it's informational, and you get limited user interaction, right? Whereas web applications now, then dynamic and then interactive. And these web applications are built for perform like specific tasks, And similar to websites, you can access them through the web browser. So with websites, yeah, just a cam, you collect information where Postidor already puts there for you. But with web apps, you can query them and it can give you like a particular set of information. That's why its content is not static, because it depends on what you ask for. It depends on the different actions that we take. Any action you take gets a different set of outcomes, considering if you take another action. Wherein with websites, every action you take gets like a fixed outcome. If you press this next arrow key, if you press a now, the outcome one they get, and if you press a now, are the same outcome. Wherein with web apps, depending on which you press, depending on how you interact with the application, and they determine the response where we they get. Yes, so now to the tech stack of websites and web app. Putting at this technology there, where they power websites and where they power web apps and where they make them different. So with the front end of websites, usually can basically get HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, whereas the front end of web apps now get advanced JavaScript frameworks, and the next lesson they learn within our frameworks, right? And also, I just want to add that it's not written there, but I know means say web apps don't get HTML and CSS. Web apps also get HTML and CSS, JavaScript, and even more advanced JavaScript going on into frameworks. And for hosting these different types of platforms, with websites, you can use simple web hosting services. Like for this course is hosted on Vercel, or you can use CMS. CMS is basically content management system. These are like software applications that they enable you for create, edit, collaborate, or publish digital content without requiring extensive technical knowledge. Like you don't need to be very, very technical. It's like you can come, you design them, you create, you edit them, and then you push them, and then you get like a simple website. Whereas web apps now they deal with more intense and more sophisticated server setups. And like I mentioned, server listens for request, process, passes out a response. And websites typically not can get much on the back end. But with web apps, there are server-side languages so we can use for develop the back end, work with APIs and the likes. So now let's go into the more practical side of this lesson, which is the terminal and the command line. Throughout your software engineering journey, you would have to be using the terminal for a lot of things then. Right? But firstly, make we learn waiting at this terminal. The terminal basically now a text-based interface we use for interact with your computer. So you know like how you can go on your home page, right click, select, create new folder. From that nice interface that we get. The terminal can also do that one, but then we use text. And this text is what we call commands. Right, so terminal is just a way for interact with your computer outside of this nice graphic user interface where we see. And commands, these are like the text where we type inside a terminal for see executed, right? So these are like common commands, and we can try them now. So let's open up with terminal. Sorry about that. Let's open up with terminal and try for type out some of them command there, so I make we see what they do. So firstly, reading your terminal, very important. So for now, on this side, yours might be different, considering if you use Windows. So on this side is the particular user. On this side is the particular directory where you work from right now. So I'm working from the Mitch at Christex MacBook Air, and I'm presently in this folder called ESCO, right? So starting off, the very first command I want me to go through is called change directory, which is CD. CD basically they change the particular folder where you did into and move into another folder. So you know where you do on your home screen, where you double click and go into a folder. That's the same thing we are doing here, but in text. So CD, not C-E-E-D-E-E, just C and D, A, B, C, D, stand for change directory. So if we want change directory for now, I'll move outside of this ESCO directory and go into my home directory. So a shortcut we can use is basically, if you are gonna like a directory above the one we present, the type CC, you give space and 2 dots. It will take you now a directory above. So now we see, we get ESCO. Now we no longer get ESCO. We get this home directory of matching MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, sorry, and we then at the home directory. This squiggly basically means so you then at the home directory of this particular laptop. The next command we will go through is ls. We mean list directories. What this basically do is it list all the file stem or all the subdirectories that you get in a particular directory. So if you type ls under this is showing at the home directory of Mitch, we get another directory called applications. We get another directory or a file called Creative Cloud, Desktop, Documents, Downloads, Edge Connect, Get Transaction. What you see all the content there, all the files there, or all the directories there. So they inside this we home directory here. So in whatever directory, let's say we change CD into documents, and then we type ls. This take a list now all the content within inside this documents directory. And let's change directory into another one. Let's go into downloads. Now we're in downloads and then list the content in downloads. So we see these are all the content here we get inside downloads. So let's try out another command. And also, if your terminal gets too clogged up and you want for clearer, just type CLEAR and it clears up. Another deleter, just to clear this particular interface we work with so that you will get more space for work with. And yes, we don't go to the command called CD, which is change directory. So let's say you're inside this directory, you're inside downloads now, but you want to create a new folder, you want to create a new directory inside it. How will they do that one day? The command we use now, mkdir, we basically mean make directory. So make we try them out and see what they do. So now we're inside downloads. So if you pay attention, make we list the content here once more. We could make new directory called engineering week 1. And now if we press ls, list directories, and if we look, we go see the engineering week 1 directory where we create down there inside. So now let's say we want to go into that directory there with the type cd engineer week 1. Now we're inside this new directory where we don't create what we call engineer week 1. And now let's say we want to create a new file inside this directory. We want to create a new, for example, text file inside this directory, still from the terminal. We basically can just say touch. So touch file.txt. So we create a text file inside. Sorry, that was touch file.txt. file.txt. Yes. So now we don't create if list. You can see, so don't create file.txt in terminal. Then I just also want to mention this in the terminal. When you type a command, it basically just executes, and not they tell you, or usually give response say this is complete or this is successful. Personally, I collect for say when you get a response from terminal, and it may say something actually wrong. So for example here, where a mistake type TOCH file.txt instead of the touch TOUCH, I get command not found. But here where I actually type out the right thing, it just executes. It's efficient like that, it just executes. You don't need for, necessarily to come back and say, I don't need execute this command, what you want for do now. It just does it and then proceeds. So let's move on to our next command, which is echo. Let's try out this command and see what it do. Like as it says here, it writes to a particular file. So we don't create a file called file.txt. We want to put content inside that file. How we do that one is by using the command echo. So make we see how that one works. So echo quotations and put in name Mitch, and then we use the greater than arrow for point say this text we don't make, we want to push it inside a particular file, and the file we work with is called file.txt. Bam. So now we don't write inside this file. Well, like I said, terminal they usually give you output say this is successful. So if we want to see what we write into this file, how we do that one? We would use another command called cat file.txt, and this command basically they show you or print out the particular content where we get in this text file. So if you see, my name now Mitch, and we get rm. rm basically they remove any directory where you don't create or any file where you don't create. Make we try them out and see how it work. So we did inside Mitch, inside the engineering required directory, but inside this directory, we now one great file we get there, we now file.txt, and now we want to remove that file there. So we type rm file.txt, and then if we press L, if we list directories now or list files, you see say this directory empty because we don't remove this file there. So if you want to remove anything inside a particular directory, you just type rm, and then the name of the file. So these two, you can pause the video from here, try them out and see how they work. And just one for mention, there are thousands of boku other commands and the way we get for learn throughout this course, and some the way we know get for even learn, but in your journey through the software engineering process, you'll get to pick up a whole lot of other commands. And terminal, and being able to work from a terminal is a really, really interesting skill for have, because it's text-based, meaning like, you tend to not forget distracted by a lot of things there, and it can be more efficient and able to achieve a lot. The people that I've seen or the people that I work with, who they work directly from terminal, are usually really effective and they deliver. So this is a quick exercise. You can pause the video from here, try for solver on your own, and then we can come back and then run through the solution. Make we see. Oh, now looking at the exercise, I feel like in the process of demonstrating from the terminal, we basically don't go through the entire exercise. But the thing with engineering, along with any skill you try for develop, is practice. The more you write these commands, the more you communicate from the terminal, the more you get abreast with these commands, the easier it becomes a part of you. And once it becomes a part of you, it's easier for just flow. So let's walk straight into the solution for this exercise. So the first thing we do is we clear our terminal, and it says create a new directory called exercise. And for create a new directory, the command are mkdir and then exercise. And if we list, we don't create a new directory in engineering week 1 called exercise. And the next thing is a move into that directory. Move into the directory called exercise. And then it says create a file called myself.txt. Touch. We don't create a new file, we list with a SIAM. Write a short description about yourself in that file. So we use echo quotations and say, I am not a girl. And then we use the greater than for sure. Say we want this for the inside this particular file called myself.txt. Right. And then display the content in that file. We don't put me short description. I want for display, I want for see what's inside that particular file. We use cat self.txt. I am not a girl with a C. Sorry. And then it say move back to the parent directory. So they move back to the parent directory in our engineering week 1. And then remove this exercise directory. So for remove now, rm exercise. So it says exercise is a directory. So congratulations. I hope during the exercise, if you attempt for DOA, you self encountered this setback. We don't get to the very first engineering hurdle for this lesson, which is typically the rm command is used for remove or used for delete files and not directories. But now exercise we want for delete is a directory. How we go remove this file? We use a command called rm still, which is remove, but we add new flags or new command to her, which is the one is R. This basically stands for recursive, and this they tell this with other rm commands. Say, look, I know see this is not directory, but I want to delete this directory and all the contents already inside it. Right? And then we add another one called F. The F flag basically means force. And as the word say, force, they delete them by force without needing for prompt warning or safety check system. Okay, rm remove the R flag recursive, we mean remove delete directories and then content by force. So that's basically it in this rm dash rf mean. And if we type exercise, it's gone now. You don't delete exercise and you don't delete the file we get inside the winner myself.txt. So that's it for this very first lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. And the link to my Discord go there in the description. A link to my personal social skills today in the description. So if you need to reach out to ask any questions, feel free for do so at any time. And just for it to get you to what I mentioned at the start, this is part of a 8-week or 8-lesson series where they take you from what we don't cover. So today the internet basics to advanced HTML and CSS to you developing your own website and subsequently your own web apps. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.